Good afternoon, members. Welcome back from the State of Nation, the State of ICT sector in Uganda. From Andrew. Wow, it was a wonderful discussion. I just want to emphasize today's theme. I've not heard anyone mentioning about it. Community and identity is our theme today. And I think I'm the one opening up the session for the technical side. I think we are done with the community side, but it also has a bit of a community. So what I'm going to talk about today is why eduroam matters. And I'm sure I'm speaking to the right audience. I want to imagine that everyone in this room have heard about eduroam. However, if you haven't heard about eduroam, this is the right time and place to get yourself acquainted about the service. I'm going to take you through this outline. If you're not aware of the service, what is it? The global state of the service, our journey as an NREN, then the benefits of eduroam, the implementation needs, a little bit of statistics on what we see in our country and elsewhere, then I'll summarize by success stories. Yes, what is it? eduroam is basically Wi-Fi, but built for the research and education community. By definition, it's a secure, worldwide roaming Wi-Fi internet access service developed for the research and education community. Globally, at the end of 2023, for that year, we recorded 7.5 billion successful user logins in that year. And as you can see on the global map, this service that we talk about is covered, or there are 106 territories or countries that are having this service. And we are lucky that the country where you are, the service is here. The areas where you see that it's still white, and it's mostly in Africa, right? That's where eduroam is not yet covered, but I think it will get there. Now, our journey as NREN. So in the year 2016, we became the 75th national roaming operator. And what do I mean here? We had our eduroam federated radius server installed in the country. And as I would like to add a note there, as past speakers mentioned, that UCU played a very crucial role in setting up also the NREN. They supported us. So you can imagine our eduroam infrastructure started from UCU. They hosted our very first radius server for the national roaming operator. And between 2016 and 2020, we had several strategies in place to make sure that our member institutions take up this service. Among these strategies, we had the director engineering assistant, but also wherever we could go to hold workshops, we could speak about the service. But we did not end there. We had a core engineering team that was trained so that it renders support to set up the service. But again, guess what? Between the year 2016 to 2020, we managed to only connect 18 institutions on the service. Wow. Yeah. Those are around 6 years, right? And you can imagine, over 6 years, you have only 18 institutions. But as my CEO always said, to us, COVID-19 was a blessing in disguise. I know it sounds funny, but yeah. So when COVID hit on our side, we had to think and rethink of the strategies that we can put in place so that the eduroam service is taken up by institutions. Among the strategies or ideas that we came up with was eduroam on the go devices. I think we have a speaker who would hint about them. Then home links, then also managed IDP as a central database for the small institutions that can't afford to have radius servers on premise. So with these strategies and more, before I forget, the Metro eduroam launch also happened during that period. And guess what? With these strategies, we closed off the year 2023 with 109 institutions on the service. Well done, ICT directors. Well done, institutions. But we still need your support. So as we speak, we have 223 institutions on the service. There are still more institutions that don't have the service, and the appeal is, please, let's join the service. I want to talk about the future, where we see eduroam taking us, and I would love to mention that to us, the future is mesh plus. So we want to expand the service by utilizing the mesh nodes so that we cover we cover other areas within the country. But also, for those who are coming from other countries, I think you visit the booth behind there. It's something you can take home. Yes, to my topic, why eduroam matters. As I've talked about the initiatives that we came with during COVID-19, Metro eduroam, the OTGs, the home links, and the rest. These are the things that you can enjoy when you connect to eduroam as an institution. And guess what? This is all free. Metro eduroam, you find eduroam hotspots in the city, and your users are able to connect. Then on campus, there are some requirements that you need to have. Then on OTG, there is a small fee that our business development people will, if at all you're interested with the service, you can liaise with them and see how to take up the service. But also globally, you can access the service. It's free, it's easy to use, it's secure. Now, let's go to the implementation needs. I want to go back because I'm speaking to the ICT directors, especially those who don't have the service. So on the needs, we have a radius server. If at all you want to set up the service on campus, you need a radius server that will help us to communicate with your user database, but also access points that can support WPA2 enterprise. Now, you're asking yourself, how does it work? I want to take you through behind the scene on how the service works. I'm not assuming, I'm from RENU, but also RENU is acting as a national roaming operator, but you can put your institution name on the side of RENU, and let's get rolling. So I'm a user, I'm Hellen. I want to connect to eduroam. There is an access point broadcasting the service. So I come and I'm like, yay, I'm Hellen from RENU. Here is my secret token. Now, I'm at Chambogo University, but Chambogo is not aware of my credentials or my user details. The radio server at Chambogo asks, I don't know anything about Hellen, but I have to ask the roaming operator. In this case, it's RENU. But I said you put your institution on the other side of RENU so that the national roaming operator makes sense on your side. Okay, so roaming operator, do you know anything about Hellen? They gave me their token. The roaming operator knows about me. I know about RENU. Let me ask them. So the roaming operator asks, claiming there is a user, Hellen, claiming to be one of the users. They have this token. Do you know them? They are asking institution X. In this case, your institution. The secret belongs to Hellen. Let me check for their details. Yes, so they contact the radio server on the RENU side. And the radio server checks with the user database from the RENU side, and the user database responds as, yes, I know RENU, I know Hellen, that person belongs to RENU, please let them have internet access. So the radio server that is in between, we call it the roaming operator, in between the two institutions, sends back feedback that, okay, RENU knows about Hellen, please let them have access. Now back to the institution where I am, that is Chambogo. The roaming operator says that RENU knows about Hellen. You can give them internet access. And guess what? This all happens in a microsecond. You can't tell what is happening when you're on your phone. Isn't that wow? Yes. So I want to take you back, and I give you a brief of what we see when it comes to statistics. And I'll start with local authentication domains, authenticating outside Uganda. So that radio server you saw that I call the roaming operator in between enables us to get to know which users go outside, which users come this side. So we get all these statistics. But I want to take you through about in them. What you see on the screen, we have the local domains successfully authenticating outside the country. And those are the details, starting with Makerere. I think it has the most successful users, followed by UCU, IU, Soroti University, and the rest. Now, those were successful user logins. Now, when it comes to unique user logins, we also see we have some good figures in there. And all this means that these users go outside the country and access the service for free. Yes. And now what? We also see institutions or users coming from the outside now visiting our country or your institutions and accessing the services, this eduroam service. So these are statistics for successful user login for the international users. If you can note, we have Rhodes University, University of Cape Town, and other universities. that are external. Same unique users, we also capture them, and this is what we see. Now, having spoken about the implementation, the statistics, and the rest, I want to share with you some success stories from the institutions or the users that are using the service. I'll begin. This was us on a trip somewhere, and we met a user who is yet to give you a testimony.
I'm a German law student, and we're here at a lake in a national park in Uganda with no houses, nothing around, and I got eduroam here out of nowhere, and it's crazy, and it's the best thing ever, and it's working, and I love it. Good job, guys. It's such a cool thing. I think so. I mean, it's working so well. Like, I mean, there's a reason why anywhere in the world, any university has it, right? Yeah. It's crazy that it's working like in these things. I don't know. But it's the best idea ever. Why didn't anybody like do it earlier? I don't know. Guys,
I think the challenges were different. The challenges were different enough on the US. So here we're starting to adapt to our city.
That's an amazing idea. My brother is a student, but his university is private and very small, and I'm not sure if they have eduroam. That's why.
Okay.
Because that might be it, right?
Yeah. It has to be deployed at your university.
Yeah, of course. A thing that you could extend across like Uganda and even further, because there are definitely more countries that would need for like save Wi-Fi with eduroam. That's amazing.
Yeah. We hope to deploy it more, so we're trying to look for ways to make it more affordable for us to deploy it more.
I mean, do you guys like have like bigger sponsors or something for that? Because I mean, it's a project that if you like do it bigger and in Europe and like actually promote it, there are definitely like 100,000 like students in the world that would support it. Yeah.
Eduroam on the go.
Anytime.
Anytime. Anywhere.
Anyway. Yes, and we're in the middle of Lake Embro, the national park, and we had eduroam on the go devices, and this student was so shocked to find eduroam. For her, it wasn't normal. I mean, she's used of eduroam inside her campus back home, but now is finding it at a national park. So it was wonderful for her. But again, I have another one I want to share.
This school, my friend, started up with a little girl just because she was born deaf. She would be left alone in a dangerous community here called Kosovo, all by herself. And because of that, bad boys would come into the house and use her sexually. So she ends up giving birth to a blind girl herself. We started actually just a concern to make sure that that girl is safe and her baby is safe. One by one began to come out. And that's how we end up with 30 deaf and blind kids in the school right now. Internet, like what you guys are doing for us, RENU, is the means by which they're able to visualize something. And their writing and reading has improved tremendously.
Nice videos on the computer, friends and doing video calls, playing with a computer, comedies, we like cartoons.
Yes, and again, by the way, you didn't know that also the initiatives that RENU is coming up with, we've seen mature NRENs like this one in Ireland, also adopting the service that were created from here. So this is Ireland adopting the Metro eduroam as a service. Yes, I want to conclude my presentation by asking the ICT directors of the institutions that don't have eduroam, what are we waiting for? I think for RENU, I know I'm coming from RENU, but I feel they have done their part, we've done our part. The service is free, we can give support and everything. Please join the service. It's my appeal. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Again, we shall take 2 to 4 questions, but I would like to quote from what our guest of honor said. We need a passwordless or the freedom from passwords. And I think eduroam is a very good success story. Many of you here are accessing internet, but because you have eduroam in your institutions, you don't have to move around, ask the hotel where the password is or written on the board. You're accessing the service, but the authentication is from your institution. And I think that is what the future holds. So 2 to 4 questions, just 1 question, make it brief. You say your name and institution.
Thank you very much, Francis Soto, Mountains of the Moon University. In telecommunication, the provider of services, when it comes to roaming, besides authentication, remember the hosting operator will then take charge of the credential, in what we call visitors location register. Now the authentication is done, but later on there is something they settle between them, what we call the interconnect fees. You have asked a question, and I'm sure that there are some people who may not want to talk about it, but I know what they're thinking. This is whose resources are utilized. You did not mention that. I do understand clearly, but I wanted it to come from you. Would it be that if I am connecting from Chambogo, I am utilizing the resources from Chambogo, and if for any reason there is a limitation of available resources based on the number of users connecting at that time, is there any technical implication? Let them know, because not all of us have got the telecommunication experience and then this particular roaming expertise. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Richard Sendono from the Infectious Diseases Institute. My question to Helen is about quality of service. You've noted that eduroam looks at OTG, Metro, home links, and on campus. So out of those different areas of eduroam, I wanted to first appreciate the statistics. How are we doing, first of all, in terms of uptake for the different eduroam services, and do we measure the quality of service? Other than successful login, there's login, but I mean, how is the quality itself? Could it be one of the reasons why the uptake is low? And also, I think my brother has noted that question. We always ask, I receive over 100 visitors on a daily. So if my resources are constrained, I'll try to take off the radius server. Sorry to say.
Thank you. I would like to give preference to a lady if there is one. If no, then I go to the gents. Any lady? No. So I see a hand. Okay, so my colleague, then the person up, then those four, then Helen will. Oh, our guest of honor. So after the Tusu, then Hellen answers.
Good afternoon. I'm called Jacob Okato from Roforum, Makirere. My simple question goes to Hellen. I've tried to connect eduroam for the past 3 years. I just successfully logged in once, but up to now it doesn't work. So the challenge is on the I don't know whether it's technically on the phone it worked, but on the laptop it didn't work. So I want to enroll all my users on eduroam, but we had this challenge. I think she can address all.
Thank you. Before he answers, because it might skip my mind, these numbers that they showed for eduroam, I think they could have been much more than this, but there are two issues. I think those who are on Android 11 upwards, you need to have a certain app for you to have eduroam on your phone. So that has kicked out so many people. I think even some versions of Windows. But also, I'll leave the rest for Hellen to answer. I don't want to go so technical. Yeah, but I have some answers for you. So him, then Tusu, then back to Hellen.
Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Urire Shola. I'm from KIU. Yes, eduroam has done a lot. Coming from subject where I'm coming from, I think it's a very good service, and the features are good. But basically, just like the question that was asked earlier, it borders on resources. And I think one of the things is, if we can be able to have bandwidth management or bandwidth meter, so that, I don't know, because I don't see that part of the feature on the radio server, so that we can easily specify a particular bandwidth for the Wi-Fi service itself, because the eduroam uses your Wi-Fi service. And if we're talking about the resources, which is the bandwidth itself, you know, just as what he said earlier on, all resources is being used. Now, part of what we are using eduroam for is for the students and again for the staff, but mainly in an institutional setting, the students use the resources more, and we should be able to manage these resources. So I want to know the provision, if in the future of the radio servers, if we can have something like the bandwidth management or the bandwidth meter, so that we can be able to specify bandwidths for these resources. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then lastly, Tusu. I'll give you the microphone.
Thank you very much. Hellen, you have done a lot. My question was going to be about your linkage to EduGain, because I know you're a member, but I'm setting that aside. I've got a totally different question. You have achieved a lot as a lady in an area that is dominated by men. And I think you can be an inspiration to many ladies. Maybe you could say something about the things which have enabled you to succeed, because that can be an inspiration for other ladies. We're really short of ladies in this sector. And maybe you could also go and talk to more girls' schools so that they see examples of success in this area. Thank you, Hellen.
So Tusu was the last question, but then I have a visitor. And it is bad manners in my culture to deny visitors.
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Kennedy from Kennet. I think I would like to just chime in on the previous question, the one from KIU. Probably Hellen will also contribute a little bit more. So on the matter of being able to, it's possible to separate eduroam traffic, even if in your university you have eduroam, SSID, and any other SSID, it's still possible to separate. There are radius attributes that you can send to your switches, and then based on say, if someone is logging from KIU, you can put them on a KIU VLAN on your switches and apply whatever restrictions you want. If someone is a staff of KIU, you can put them in a separate VLAN, still logging in on eduroam, and if someone is not from KIU, you can put them on a separate VLAN. So it's possible. Maybe Hellen will be able to, if you link up with Hellen, maybe they'll be able to see how they can support you with that. But it's possible to do it through putting users in different VLANs on your switching? Thank you.
So as you're still standing, so those who are not around when we are saying, so he's Kenneth and the city of Kenneth at the RENU in Kenya. But most importantly, I said in my opening remarks that Hellen, she's on the eduroam Global Governance Committee. And he's been there before. How long?
I was there almost like a perennial African leader from 2012 until last year. Thank you.
So previously I used to shoot my issues to him. So he's talking from a point of experience. Over to you, Hellen. Then we move to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the questions. I think my brother Kenneth has touched on the first question of whose resources are being utilized, but I would like to add a word or two. Firstly, to emphasize that actually it's the hosting institution that is sharing the resources with the visitor. I mean, and I want us not to take it in a bad way, because this is a community. Today it's me traveling, tomorrow it will be you traveling. So if at all you think of who is utilizing my resources and why and the rest, that puts us in a situation that even where you're going or where you'll be going, you find yourself in a situation that they have capped, for example, the bandwidth on eduroam, and you won't have a good experience. Would you like to enjoy bad experience when you're visiting, when you're somewhere, not at your home institution? I guess no. So to me, it's a community thing. It's a community initiative. I mean, we are helping each other. So we shouldn't be burdened unless you're really, really, I don't know, on the wall. And that's why I would say you could put bandwidth caps, maybe separating your users from the staff and stuff. But for me, I take it as a community, and as RENU, we can't encourage you to cap or to separate your users. But if at all you're, again, on the wall, you can do that so that you feel that users are not utilizing your resources. I hope that answers that question on the resources being utilized, right? Thank you. I think it was Jacob Reform having a challenge with eduroam connection on campus. It works on a phone, but elsewhere it doesn't. I think from here, Jacob, my team should visit you so that we make eduroam work. I know over the years you've been also having challenges here and there, but I trust we can resolve this once and for all so that you have a good experience wherever you go. Another one was related again to bandwidth management, and I think that is covered. The last one was quality of service. I think it is in line with monitoring, that I'm connected to eduroam. Do we monitor the quality of service? It's an initiative that we are trying to explore as an NREN, so that we know what our users feel like to be connected to a service. It's something which is work in progress, and we promise it's something that we are going to work on so that we can tell what our users think when they're connected on eduroam service. Yes, back to my father, Professor Tusu. Inspirations to the ladies. I don't know whether I wanted also the men to listen to my answers, but maybe I will give some hints here and there. First of all, also men inspire me as a person. I mean, if at all something is done by a man, why not by a woman? You know, we do also a lot of things here and there, but I think we've learned over the time that men concentrate more. Okay, for us we concentrate, but we have so many things we be juggling with. But I think also nowadays, or even in the future, is women. So I want to inspire the ladies who are looking at me that these things are not rocket science. They can be done by even us. Yes. I think also the environment where I am, the RENU really supports us as ladies. Not like, what is the word? That they compromise on other things, no. They encourage us to do the right things. And yeah, basically the support that our CEO and the board that renders to us, it's something that we can't take for granted. Thank you so much, RENU and the team. For more inspirations and other things, I think I can have a chat with whoever wants on one-on-one. There are things that I can't say on the camera, but if you approach me as a lady, I can share. Thank you.